Now at 5, the city of Pittsburgh gives more details on its plan to create a new trash service. Plus, the Creative Learning Alliance in Joplin announces the name of its new science center. And
the Supreme Court says prosecutors improperly charged some January 6 Capitol rioters. I'm Erica Brown with how the court's ruling impacts those cases and charges against former President Trump.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The city of Pittsburgh is continuing its efforts to create and operate a public trash service in the city. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Tanya Bach. KOAM's Samantha Walker is live in Pittsburgh with the details.
By September 1st, Pittsburgh residents will have another trash service to choose from. In the last city council meeting, officials approved the purchase of 2 trash trucks, 100 dumpsters, and 500 trash carts. That equipment will cost the city more than $580,000, with funds coming out of the general and utility funds. This is part of the city's effort to create a public trash service in the wake of reports from residents of issues with other companies like Cars Recycling and Waste Management. This service will be fee-based and residents aren't required to use it. They'll see no taxes as an increase because of this service. And the city says they're just trying to offer another option for the community.
When you do have a big hauler that all of a sudden isn't picking up trash on a regular basis, whenever those carts fall over, when they get abandoned, the city is forced to pick that up. And currently we're picking those up with dump trucks and public works and street and utility crews that have other jobs. So it just became a point where it's like, look, we're gonna have to get serious and get in this business and do some of this ourselves to get it done.
To learn more about the city's plan and how to sign up for the service, you can visit our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Reporting live in Pittsburgh, I'm Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
And Samantha, thank you for that report. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy joins us with a first look at your forecast.
Well, of course, another hot one for us today, a little bit hotter than what we have seen over the past couple days. 93 is where we topped out, 73 is our low, 89 is our average high, 102 is the record set back in 2012. Most of us are still sitting low to mid 90s once you get out across our western counties, and we do have a heat index out there. It feels like 102, 104, 105 degrees, so it's nasty outside, and that's what we're going to see as we go through the evening hours. A few little clouds kind of shooting through. Besides that, we're going to watch for some thunderstorms developing to our north along the I-70 corridor later on tonight, and a few of those will try to work in late tonight. Through the evening, we slide back through the 60s, 80s, into the upper 70s, so a very warm and very humid evening. Of course, we're going to look at your weekend here in just a bit.
Summer slide is when students go on summer break and lose academic progress. Now, Compass Academy Network is expanding its summer program to Neosho, Missouri this summer to combat this. Now, rural communities like Neosho can be overlooked by summer programs. Compass Academy's goal is to fill this void in Neosho and help students become more prepared for the school year in the fall.
So rural communities, they don't always have the resources that they need necessarily. Funding is something that is ongoing and changing every year, and they don't always have what the resources they need to provide extra enrichment for kids, especially in the summer when you have limited funds to be able to provide a summer school. This allows them to either extend into a summer program or have a summer program.
Classes for the summer program in Neosho will begin July 8th. The Creative Learning Alliance is building a science center, and it now has a name. It will be called the Schroeder Family Explorium. The name was chosen from 64 entries in a public contest. The capital campaign to fund the center's construction also entered the public phase today. They're looking to raise $6.5 million for the project.
The community in naming the building so that they could have ownership here. So we started a contest, we received 64 entries, and finally narrowed it down to Explorium, which I think is a perfect name.
The Explorium will be added onto the Alliance's headquarters at 300 South Main. President Biden and former President Trump are returning to the campaign trail now that the first presidential debate is in the books. President Biden started with a stop in Raleigh, North Carolina. Former President Trump is courting voters in Chesapeake, Virginia today as he looks to make a play for that state. As of now, both candidates are still committed to meeting on the debate stage again in September. Well, the Supreme Court ruled today the Department of Justice overstepped its bounds with an obstruction charge used to prosecute hundreds of accused rioters in the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Erica Brown has more on what this means for some of the defendants and former President Donald Trump.
In a 6-3 ruling, the Supreme Court made it harder to charge defendants in the Capitol riot with obstruction.
What the majority is saying here is it can't just be walking in and engaging in a riot. It has to be tied to some sort of document destruction.
Conservative Justice Amy Coney Barrett issued a stinging and somewhat surprising dissent.
She says, or otherwise means you tried to corruptly impede a official proceeding, and a riot is enough to do that.
Former Harrisburg, Pennsylvania police officer Joseph Fisher brought the case, his lawyer arguing federal prosecutors were using the Enron-era law as a dragnet. The top House Republican voiced approval of the ruling.
Effectively, the court agrees that a number of the defendants in the January 6th proceedings have been overcharged.
The impact is already being felt on the D.C. docket, with more cases being ordered for review and deadlines as soon as next week. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland expressed disappointment and pointed out in a statement the vast majority of the more than 1,400 defendants will not be affected by this decision. There are no cases in which the department charged a January 6 defendant only with the offense at issue in Fisher. The ruling could impact part of former President Trump's federal election case.
I will be shocked if Special Counsel Jack Smith does not have court papers ready to say that he can still charge former President Trump with obstruction, arguing that he was trying to interfere with the counting and the counting of those state electoral votes, which were paper, which were evidence.
The court also announced its last day of the term is Monday, when watchers can expect a decision in Trump's immunity case. Erica Brown, CBS News, Washington.
The Supreme Court says cities can ticket homeless people for sleeping outside. The High Court handed down the ruling, siding with the town of Grants Pass, Oregon, and its anti-camping ordinances. The case has been closely watched by municipalities across the nation, overwhelmed with a growing homeless population. The majority opinion says the ordinance does not qualify as cruel and unusual punishment under the Constitution's 8th Amendment. Still ahead, building a spice tolerance.
It's the hottest selling condiment right now, figuratively and literally. I'm Michael George with why hot sauce is having a moment.
And next in Health Watch, efforts to make donating blood more inclusive. Topping today's Health Watch, malignant melanoma is one of the most aggressive types of skin cancer, but tumors can become drug resistant during treatment. Researchers at the University of Zurich have discovered secretions from tumors can cause the problem. Understanding the mechanism could eventually lead to better treatments, but prevention remains the best course of action by limiting exposure to the sun and using sunscreen. Whether you live in an urban environment or a rural setting, it could have a strong influence on survival of some types of cancer. And that's the finding from a new study published in JAMA Network Open that found rural residents with head or neck cancers experience higher mortality rates. Rural patients are also less likely to see progress in their cancer treatment. Researchers believe access to treatment, differences in HPV vaccination rates, and alcohol and tobacco use could all be factors. For years, gay and bisexual men were not able to give life-saving blood. The FDA banned donations during the 1980s HIV/AIDS crisis. Last year, the FDA lifted the rules, and this Pride Month, Danya Bacchus shows us how one man is helping make blood donation more inclusive.
Just need your donor ID or picture ID.
Ralph Galvan has been a volunteer with the American Red Cross for 10 years, but it wasn't until last year that he was able to donate blood.
I felt really good that, we're not on the sidelines anymore.
As a gay man, Ralph couldn't give blood based on rules the Food and Drug Administration had in place that kept sexually active gay or bisexual men from donating. To help change that policy, he took part in an FDA-funded study that led to requirement changes.
Being part of the advanced study and helping shape this and getting rid of the policy it's beneficial to me, to my community.
Last year, the FDA lifted restrictions. Guidelines are no longer based on sexual orientation, and all potential donors receive the same standard donor history questionnaire.
This is really exciting because we're now able to ask every potential donor the same questions, treating them with equality and with respect, all while still maintaining a safe blood supply.
Right now, officials say there is a critical need. Last month, the Red Cross collected 20,000 fewer donations than needed to maintain its national supply.
Unfortunately, throughout the summer months, we know that we can only expect more severe weather and record-setting travel, which is going to further impact the ability of people to come out for their appointments.
Ralph is grateful he can make a difference.
It's a heartfelt moment that, that I can give now and help others.
And he is proud to say he is now a volunteer and donor. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Well, all donated blood, even from repeat donors, is tested for hepatitis, HIV, syphilis, and other transmissible diseases. That's a look at today's health news. A little later, what new data from an inflation gauge shows about prices from last month.
Plus, temperatures heating up as we head into the weekend. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, of course, turned out to be a hot one for us today. Temperatures all the way up into low to mid 90s across the region. So the heat indices have been high as well. And they get worse as we go into the weekend. Nice shot. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, if you're going to be out this evening, drink plenty of fluids. We're going to slide back through the 90s into the 80s, eventually upper 70s later on tonight. But look at these temps. 90 Monette, 95 in Grove, 90 in Parsons, 89 in Pittsburgh. We have 90 in Lamar. So it is hot. It is kind of windy, 92. South winds at about 20. Gusts have been near 30 miles per hour, but our humidity is high. Look at our dew points into the mid 70s. So this is at the top of the scale, so it feels soupy across the region. That's what we're going to see tonight and tomorrow. Heat indices right now, it feels like 105 in Stockton, 102 in Anderson, at Grand Lake 107, 108 in Owata. Neodesha, it feels like 109, and those will get worse as we get into Saturday. Southerly winds, so at least a little bit of a breeze. The winds will start to die down later on tonight. Heat advisory is in effect through tomorrow. Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, excessive heat warning once you get out across northeastern parts of Oklahoma. We've had a few clouds kind of skirt through. Not much underneath the clouds. You can see a couple little sprinkles, little showers, and that is just about it. But we're going to watch for thunderstorms to build along the I-70 corridor as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Some of those could get in very late tonight after 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, but most of us are going to stay dry. So here's 10 p.m., some thunderstorms skirting our northern counties and then kind of diving into central Missouri. But on the backside, we're going to have some scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm. Here's 3 a.m., pushing on through. Here's 6 a.m., they're pretty much gone. And then very hot, very humid for us tomorrow. Temperatures go into the upper 90s. You can see a couple spotty showers starting to pop up again late in the day and then kind of explode tomorrow evening right along a warm front, or actually a cold front sliding through. So northeastern Oklahoma, Kansas, Oklahoma state line, right along I-44. Scattered thunderstorms. Some of these could be strong to low-grade severe, meaning some small hail and some gusty winds. But some heavy amounts of rain, which we need. Not really affecting our northern counties. Scattered showers and thunderstorms continue through the night tomorrow night, and then pretty much out of here by Sunday morning. And then on Sunday, we could have a spotty shower or two, but it's actually going to cool down quite a bit as we head into Sunday. 97 tomorrow, then 86 on Sunday. So a big switch. Also rainfall potential. I think a lot of us by Sunday morning, especially along that I-44 corridor, could pick up a ½ inch to an inch, maybe isolated 2-inch amounts. But check this out as we go into the daytime hours for us tomorrow. Dangerous heat. We're going to have those heat indices way up there tomorrow, about 110 to 115 degrees. So be very careful if you are going to be outside throughout the day tomorrow. All right, an alert day due to the high heat indices. 86, cooler on Sunday. Back to 99 on Tuesday, 100 on Wednesday. Some chances for thunderstorms by the 4th of July.
Ooh, well, We need a little bit of rain
We do?
before the fireworks are,
Yeah,
out
we
and
need a
about.
lot of rain,
yeah. I don't like the heat though. I could do without that. All right, thanks, Doug.
Yep.
Well, can you handle the heat? Coming up, we'll learn about the rise of hot sauce to become America's favorite condiment. Topping today's Consumer Watch, and a welcome break for U.S. consumers, prices did not rise in May. This marks the first time since November Americans have been spared from the rise in cost and instead boosted their spending and their savings. An inflation gauge closely watched by the Federal Reserve went down to 2.6% in May, edging closer to the Fed's 2% target. The Commerce Department's monthly personal income and outlays report also found an uptick in consumer spending. Across the country, one particular condiment is flying off store shelves in record numbers. Michael George shows us why America is hot for hot sauce.
Jack Adam wasn't into spicy food, but once he started trying hot sauces, he was hooked.
It was an acquired taste, got into like Thai cuisine, Vietnamese cuisine, and dabbling in spice that way, and now it's taken over most of the food I eat.
The hottest condiment in America is hot sauce. Fortune Business Insight says North American sales jumped 6% last year, and the global market is expected to grow from $3 billion to almost $6 billion by 2032. Noah Chaimberg is founder of Hedonist, a craft hot sauce shop based in New York.
Hot sauce is a great way to take what would otherwise be kind of a repetitive recipe and to really create something new with it.
Sales are heating up because more Americans are cooking at home, and as immigrant populations rise, so does interest in global cuisine. There's also a growing number of vegans using hot sauce to add extra flavor.
Oh, be careful, that is crazy.
But one of the biggest factors in the hot sauce boom is a YouTube talk show.
That one had a reaction with my tear ducts.
On Hot Ones, celebrities sit down for an interview while eating spicy chicken wings.
You say this is pure pepper?
Some episodes pull in as many as 10 million viewers.
I'm fine.
Hedonist best sellers are Hot Ones branded sauces.
This is our Hot Ones Los Calientes Verde. It's absolutely one of our most popular sauces.
Cheers. It's sweet, it's spicy, the kick is just coming in now, but it's not too
smoky.
hot. Now, stores sell sauces that range from nuclear hot to ultra mild for kids.
You see kids now who are into spicy food, where when you think back 20, 30, 40 years ago, that was never a thing.
More and more people finding life is better with a little spice. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Well, the most popular hot sauces in the U.S. right now are Tabasco sauce, followed by Frank's Red Hot. Final check of the forecast is next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, with summer travel already breaking records, we'll see where heat records will fall as well. And then on KOAM News at 6, we'll have more on the city of Pittsburgh's plan to create its own trash service. Plus, religious leaders in Oklahoma react to the state's new rules regarding teaching the Bible in the classroom, and how a group of local sign makers is helping the Southeast Kansas Humane Society. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Well, rev your engines and get out to Southwest Missouri Bank at 4000 East 7th Street in Joplin. Now, this is a live look ahead of their All-American Cruise, which starts at 6 o'clock. It's a chance for folks to enjoy some free food, music, door prizes, and check out cool cars in the bank's parking lot. And they've already got some set up there, looks like. All right.
It's going to be hot.
Yes.
Temperatures right now are still sitting into the lower 90s. Plus, our heat indices are still about 105 degrees. They're going to go to 110, 115 tomorrow. So that's why we have an alert day in effect. Some thunderstorms popping up by the evening hours.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we'll be right back here for KOAM News at 6. And we'll see you then. Have a great evening and an even better weekend.